Okay, I'm back. Let's do it. Okay, so I keep having doubts, and the only thing holding it up is that U-bolt. There's one on that side and one on that side. And that back corner is kind of the dangerous one. I've cut a couple of these U-bolts that were supporting pipes like that, and when we would cut one side, because that's like heavy iron, it didn't really make much of a difference. It just sat in a U-bolt that was only connected on one side. So when I make that first cut, in all probability, it's really not going to budge much. But because it's in that back corner, in order to cut it, I need to be kind of underneath it. What I just noticed is that there is like this pass through here. So I've got this door, and it's super dark back here. Can't see, it's got a bunch of junk, but I think I can put a ladder on this and climb up there and reach through from the other side of that wall in relative safety to make that cut. Then I can cut both of these sides of that U-bolt from this ladder here. And yeah, at that point we'll just reassess and see where we're at. So, okay. I feel like I keep promising and not delivering, but this time we're gonna do it. Once I made the cut, which was right there, this thing kind of slammed down and this piece hit the wall that I'm standing behind. So this whole wall is offering me protection. I would not have been injured in any way if it had gone on down, but it would have dented the tank, which would have been a tragedy. Let me go out and take a look at it. Because that hit the wall and stopped it, it didn't fall far enough to jerk the chain and didn't jerk the floor where the eye bolt is. So that's a good thing. Maybe we got kind of lucky there, because when the cut does happen, it's going to have less distance to fall before everything goes taut and we see if she holds or not. And I think what I want to do, instead of cutting this side one, that's going to leave this side here. Yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near that when I cut that. So I'm going to go on up and cut this side here from the other side of the wall in relative safety once again. And I'm hoping that it doesn't, smash this side upwards as that wants to go down and damage that floor joist. Yeah, it's a gamble no matter what I do. Okay guys, so I'm sorry for the whole 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of format of this video. But I'm just having my doubts. I can cut that, but I've got to reach through to do that, and I don't know what this thing is gonna do. I imagine that this is gonna stop it from going too far. There's also the chain, but there is a high probability that this thing will swing when I cut that, and my arm could easily get pinched by reaching through. There's another, let me see if I can get the ladder over here to this opening, but I don't know if I can reach it to make the cut from this one. Because that's a lot safer there. So, okay, so it's too far away to reach it. Because I can't go underneath. I could maybe reach it if I went underneath. But then again, I don't want my arm between that and any conduit. So the way to do it would be above the conduit. But that is too far for my arm to reach with the grinder. I'll feel so much better once that chain hoist goes taut, because then I know it's not really going anywhere. Because the chain hoist is hung so close to the tank, there's not enough distance, you know, to get taut. It's still kind of waiting for when it grabs and takes hold because the tank lowers a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm just going to cut both of these supports on this side. The ladder is on the other side of this gigantic heavy pipe, and the only place that's going to go is down. So by standing over here, I'll make the cuts pretty high above the tank there. So that theoretically, there's going to be no contact with this ladder and I'll be safe. I'm going to also get my harness on and hook up there. So even if it comes down, bounces, and hits the ladder, I'm still fine. So, yeah. All right. Wish me luck and let me get my harness on. It's pinching my blade and turning the grinder on. So, what was that? Okay. It'll help if I unhooked. All right. Man, this is just like one challenge after another. Let me show you what's going on now. All right, so I made that cut right there. You can see how it separated. There's the top and there's the bottom. And I would have made that higher, but I wanted to reach around on the outside of this guy here because I didn't want to be even remotely in a place where that could touch me. So I just went back and watched that video where that thing sat down when I cut that U-bolt. And I gotta say it was pretty disappointing because in the video it looks like what you guys saw just kind of sat down when I cut it. Up on the top of this ladder, the weight of that thing, it shook every bone in my body. And yeah, it was definitely different in reality than it was on that video. So this is pretty scary stuff. But like I said, let me show you what's going on here. So it's kind of a complicated situation because I don't know if the chain is taut or not. It's not straight vertical, which is what you would expect, but I still think there's a lot of force on it because this guy just sat down on this big old pipe here. And on the other side, like I showed you in that hole, the pipe is sitting on that windowsill. So it's kind of suspended. And theoretically, I should just be able to knock this off and then it would be kind of hanging free, just a matter of kind of adjusting it and, you know, getting it off of this and off of that windowsill. But we've got the added complication of that bar, which is still around the bottom and all the way up, sticking up right there. And then on the far side, we've got that long one that's cut on the opposite side. So this side down here, that side down there are still really supporting this thing. So I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about just trying to push it off right here because those might bend. I don't know. But here's what I'm thinking. I think this is going to be my plan of action. Because this is sitting securely right here, I think I can go ahead and cut that one there because it shouldn't be going in. I think I'll put a tie down strap here, bolted to here so that it can't slide off that way. And it's definitely not going that way because, yeah, it's definitely not going that way. So, plus it can't move very far because the hook is on it. So this is pretty much supported. I'm gonna cut that and then we'll basically just have one tie down support in that, on that side down there. And I can reevaluate. So this project has been way more complicated and scary than I thought. This is scarier than when I was doing that heater. You can go back and watch that video if you didn't see it. But yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna give up though. I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna try to be safe, yeah. If I can do whatever I've gotta do to keep myself in a position where things can't go sideways, then no matter what happens to this tank, I'll be safe, and that's the important part, so. Okay. Okay, so this is not a heavy duty strap, but it's just a regular strap. But it's not load bearing. So as you see, it's pretty loose. It's just kind of taut. And its only purpose is just to keep this from sliding that way. There's no stretch in it. I can give it, even like I start clicking it and it starts pulling the whole thing this way. So yeah, I don't want to make it any tighter. It's just to not allow it to slip off the edge there when I make that last cut. So second to last cut maybe. And the reason I'm filming kind of far away, I know it's backlit and it's not the greatest picture, pretty far away. The reason I'm not taking the camera up and filming where I'm actually cutting is because if something goes wonky, I want to make sure that I had it on video. So nice wide angle. As a matter of fact, let's get a little bit of the floor there. Oh man, it's just a tiny little bit hanging on. Woo! All right. Yeah, so I just cut it and it did not budge one bit because it's sitting on that thing. So now I have a choice to make. So this angle grinder has some kind of sensor in it or something. If you get the angle just wrong and the thing bounces a little bit, it shuts off. And I was like left-handed, trying to remember you should just let the angle grinder do the work and not push it, but my arm was getting so tired and I kept wanting it to get through. So I was pushing and it was making it bounce a little bit, and so it kept shutting off. But finally, it went free. And it's still up there because there's chains wrapped around it. That U-bar should have fallen off, but it's tied to the tank. So now I have a choice to make, which is, do I push it off on this side, or do I cut that last piece of U-bolt on the back corner over there? And I just can't reach it safely, so just off the top of my mind, the most risk is going to be trying to cut that in the back corner. I think the least amount of risk is to just push it off of this, where it's sitting up there here on this near side. So yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Except how heavy that thing is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a hammer and hit that so it slides over and falls off. So I found this hammer. It's a 2-pound hammer, and I thought I would just say to the video, all right, I got a 2-pound piece of Persuasion that's gonna persuade it. Then I saw, I don't know, let's see here. Where's it at? See that crack there? And then I thought, 2 pounds of crack and a little Persuasion, that'll get it off. Why am I making so many jokes about crack lately? I have no idea. I think this place has got me losing my mind. So I just went and had a look at it, and I realized it's not sitting down on this windowsill anymore. So when this end dropped, it actually pressed up against the top. So the problem is, I'm afraid that when it kind of comes off, it's going to continue to go up, and some of those fittings there are going to hook onto something. So what I'm going to try to do now is just try to lower it with the chain hoist and stay back as much as I can and see what happens. I am so close. All I need to do is keep pulling on that chain and it should lower, but let me show you what's going on. So as that end of the tank goes down that way, this end is going up, which is hooking on that 2x4. I don't know if you can see that. So, and it's so heavy, and I know for a fact if I use the chain hoist and pull it all the way up, it's still hooked a little bit. Because once I knocked it off that thing, it latched. So it's not going to help to bring it back up. So I guess I could cut this 2x4, but that's part of the what's supporting this entire wall. Yeah, I don't know. No idea. Urgh. Okay, so because it's hung up, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this last piece of U-bolt right here. It's not gonna go swinging because it is hooked up there. So I think I'm pretty safe. I'll just hook up my harness, make that cut. It's one less thing I have to deal with. Okay, it's off. The very last thing is just the fact that it's hung up on that 2x4. So let me think for a second. Miraculously, I just started lowering it and it came out. I think the downward pressure was so much that it didn't care that it was hooked up. It wanted to go down. So then it swung out and went back and then hooked again. But now I think I can lift it back up because it's free, and then unhook it off this ledge just a little bit, and then it'll lower down to the ground. So we are so close. We are so close. Okay. So frustrating. Oh my gosh. So the chain I hooked on is a little bit off center. It's on this side, right? Which means the only way to unhook that, of course it went right in there, of course it did, is to give a lot of upward pressure here. So I can't, the further I go up, it's just gonna keep going up on this end and staying hooked there. So I'm gonna have to get a board. I don't know how heavy this thing is, but maybe I can get something, jam it in there, and just lift it up enough to unhook it. So I'm gonna try that. Oh yeah, I'll get a chain hoist. It'll be easy, it'll come right down. 30 minutes max. Oh, won't be any problem. I'll make an awesome video. Yeah. Okay, so this is the best I can do. So this is what it boils down to. This piece of hardware comes out of the top of the tank and is hooked right in there. So I can't pull it off so I can lower it because this guy right here, can't see it, is about like 1 inch up, and that's hooked onto there. So this is preventing it from pulling out, and so I can lower everything. It's like 1 inch. I don't know if I can, yeah. This guy right here, stopping that from sliding off and going down. So I've been racking my brain to figure out what to do about it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a tie down strap, latch it out there, and then crank it up those 2 inches. You know, 1 inch to clear it and then 1 extra inch just for good measure. And then I'm gonna tug on that strap right there. And then with my other hand, try to manipulate this chain to start lowering it down. It'll mostly be kind of lowering down on that side only because this will be strapped up. But it should unhook it. So let's give it a shot. And by the way, this guy broke off of it when it was hooked up on that board there. It's just like hook, 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 all the way down, causing all kinds of problems. But I'm kind of happy because look at that valve. Pretty neat. So, okay, I wish it was still connected to that. That'd be even better. So a lot of people ask me why I keep cutting the sprinkler system out. And here's why. That is 100% clogged with rust. So I had somebody look at it and they were like, you gotta be kidding. That's not gonna pass any kind of code. So that's why I'm taking most of it out. At the moment, I'm just taking out the stuff that's like in my way, but eventually it's all gonna have to come out. Okay. Okay, so this is never ending. Oh my gosh. You guys are probably ready to click off. Like, is this guy ever gonna get this thing down? Okay, here's where we are. So we're way above the board here, and I just pulled as tight as I could, and I'm still about 3 inches short of where I need to be. So I'm gonna unhook it, it's gonna swing back, and then I'm gonna tug it again and know that this time I have to really tug it to the absolute max. Just had a better idea. I'm gonna put another tie down strap from there to there and crank it, and it's gonna bring it that way. So hopefully that'll work. Okay, so this is what I've got rigged up. I'm gonna start cranking on that, and that line's gonna start shortening, and it's gonna start coming that way, hopefully. And I am not gonna push my luck. I'm just gonna pull it over just enough where it's gonna clear that right there. As soon as that's done, I'm gonna hurry up and lower the chain hoist till I get past that lip. Then I can unhook everything and just lower it down to the ground. Theoretically, I'm like this close, So. Do this one, okay, I'm not gonna do this one-handed. Hold on a second. Wow, so close. Good grief. It's like millimeters. I feel like there's not a lot of, yeah, not a lot of. Oh my gosh. It would not be that easy, would it? Oh my gosh. Now that thing's got a ton of weight on it. I think what I'm gonna do, you know, it's like a $3 strap. I think I'm gonna just cut that strap. I don't know. I might be able to get the ladder up and hit that release. Oh, Okay, tripped on the ladder there. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna climb right there to that window I'll stand on the other side of the wall and hit that trigger. There's gonna be a lot of force released, so hopefully something doesn't break. Tell me I got that on camera for you guys. Oh my gosh. All right. It is all downhill from here. Yes. Okay, so the other side of it is the more attractive side. But it is down. Oh my gosh, it is down. And so once it was down here on the floor, I wanted to see how heavy it was. And I can't get 3, 4, and as hard as I can, and that thing does not even budge. It is so heavy, which means that without that chain hoist, it would have been absolutely impossible. If I'd have tried to do that with the scaffolding, it would have ended in disaster. So, yeah, not good. And I wanted to like stand it up and get it out in the light and show you guys what it looks like and what I'm thinking for it. But I don't think I'm even gonna be able to stand it up. So what I may do here is, because I wanna do something with that end. So I think I'll cut this guy off here, and then I'll use the chain hoist to stand it up if I can keep it from flopping around too much. Maybe I can do that to get it stood up. So we'll give it a shot. Okay, this is kind of funny. So now that I've got her down, I think I've persuaded her that she kind of likes me. She gave me all that trouble in the beginning, but I got past her coldness and she's warmed up to me. Check this out. You see that mark there? I started to cut that off because I want to stand this tank up, and that is so hard. And I just gave up. I couldn't fit the angle grinder in. So I wanted to cut this guy off here because I want to stand it up. And I started to use the reciprocating saw on there, and it just was not working. And it's too small to fit the angle grinder in because of the slip out here. So I couldn't quite get it to make good contact. So I went and I got that guy. And as soon as I started to connect it, check that out. No problem at all. And I believe maybe it doesn't protrude out past the lip here. So I might be able to stand it up. If it wobbles when I stand up, I know I'm gonna have to lay it back down and cut a little bit of that off, but that'll be easier now. I can get the angle grinder on it. Okay, definitely short enough now. Oh, and there it is. Oh my gosh. It is amazing that something this heavy hung right there for so many years. Oh my gosh. And I think what I'll probably end up doing, have a lot of thinking to do, because that overbuilt size and the scale of it has its own appeal. So like it could have like a, you know, a gooseneck coming out of it with a lamp or something. But another option is to cut it in half, which would reduce the weight by half. Put a little base on it, and then do something up here on this one, and then just like a flat surface on the bottom half. I don't know, but I win. I did it. Yeah. I did it. And with that, I think I'm gonna end. I need some rest, guys, and I need to get cleaned up. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll see you guys again soon.